Stick with me here. At 18, I survived a crazy plane crash that changed absolutely everything. A rich couple adopted me, training me to be their only heir. But there was one huge catch: that crash erased 10 years of my memory completely. Then just 3 days ago, those lost memories suddenly flooded back. I remembered my true identity. It turns out I am actually the eldest son of the elite Sterling family. They were still out there somewhere in the capital, so I had to head straight home. 10 whole years is a massive gap. Everything must be totally different now. My sweet sisters, are you doing all right without me? Right after arriving in the city, a flashy new club totally caught my eye. I frowned, ready to walk away, but a loud argument outside stopped me. This guy in a flashy, messy suit was glaring down at a young girl wearing a super thin, fragile dress. His voice dripped with annoyance. "Know your place. You are just a replacement. Must I remind you?" The girl looked incredibly upset. Her pale face seemed deeply innocent and totally heartbreaking to see. "Trent Thorne, I told you I feel sick today. I absolutely refuse to go to the hospital just to be your personal healing donor." Trent scoffed harshly, grabbing her chin with a mocking grip. "Not feeling well, yet you are selling drinks at this sketchy club, Chloe Sterling. Are you selling drinks or throwing away your dignity?" The girl bit her lip, raised her hand, and delivered a totally epic, resounding slap right across his face. "Smack! That is enough, Trent. You absolute jerk. Whatever I owed you was paid back a long time ago. We are completely finished. Get out of my life." "Done." Trent completely roared, his fragile ego totally shattered. "Chloe, what makes you think you have the absolute right to say that to me? If I never agreed to that engagement 3 years ago, do you really think your pathetic family would still exist? You want to break things off? You better go ask your father if he actually agrees." He violently grabbed her wrist, trying to drag her toward his car. "Now pay attention, this is where everything shifts." As she closed her eyes in pure despair, my icy voice finally cut through the heavy air. "Let her go." Trent completely froze. He looked up, meeting my eyes that basically screamed, "I could buy your entire family tree." He frowned deeply. "Who the heck are you? This is our business. Scram." But Chloe. The exact moment she heard my voice, a voice etched deeply into her soul, she stood totally frozen, like lightning had struck her. She slowly raised her head, looking at me in absolute pure disbelief. Her trembling hands reached out, whispering a name she had kept buried deep inside. "Big brother." I just smiled warmly, looking at my sweet little sister. "Chloe, it is me!" She immediately yanked her hand away from Trent, throwing herself into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. In all these long years, she had never cried with such deep vulnerability. I gently patted her back, letting my voice soften up completely. "Do not be afraid. I am right here. Your brother is home." Chloe looked up, her tearful eyes searching my face. "Is it really you? I am not just dreaming, am I?" Meanwhile, Trent stood there, awkwardly looking exactly like a totally confused pigeon. "Brother, where did this random guy pop out from? Are you not the oldest, Sterling? What kind of silly trick are you playing now? Hurry up and come with me." But before he could even finish, another massive smack echoed through the air. I gave his cheek a high-speed high five, putting all my strength into it. You and I both heard his filthy words, "replacement healing donor." Like, seriously, what kind of incredibly trashy melodramatic CEO script was this guy reading? I stepped forward intensely, staring him down. "You dare bully my sweet sister right in front of me? Do you want a one-way ticket to the hospital?" "You hit me!" Trent yelled out, totally stunned. Half his face was numb, burning with sharp pain and deep humiliation. Looking at me, he felt a deeply chilling aura that made his knees incredibly weak. I wrapped my arm around my sister, protectively shielding her. "I am her brother. Try bullying her again, and we will see if you prefer a wheelchair or a feeding tube." Chloe sniffled softly. An overwhelming sense of pure security wrapped right around her. To her, I was a bright beam of light, chasing away the dark fears she held for years. I raised my foot, delivering an epic Sparta kick straight to Trent's chest, sending him totally sprawling to the ground just like a deflated balloon. He scrambled up and ran away, totally muttering that classic cartoon villain line, "You just wait." I took Chloe to a nearby diner, ordering 2 bowls of warm beef noodles. "Chloe, do not be afraid anymore. Tell me everything that happened," I said softly. Chloe gradually calmed down, wiping away her tears. "Where have you been all these years? They said you disappeared." Heavy guilt washed over me. Honestly, I thought I was totally finished that day. Luckily, Sai was saved and adopted by wonderful people, but I lost my memory for 10 whole years. I only remembered everything 3 days ago, and I immediately rushed back to find you all. Hearing this, any lingering resentment Chloe might have felt just vanished completely. She stared at me, terrified I would disappear again. It is our fault. We were useless. We could not find you. Nonsense, I interrupted. What is the deal with Trent? He is my ex-boyfriend, but it is over. That is where we leave it for now. She hesitated nervously. Brother, will you come home with me tonight? She clearly wanted to hide her past struggles, and I completely respected that. But honestly, even without her saying anything, I was going to investigate everything. Let's dive in. Anyone who dared to bully my family would absolutely regret their choices. Standing right outside this completely run-down apartment building, I stopped and looked at Chloe, shocked. You actually live here. Our family mansion is at number 1 South Lake. Why rent out here? Chloe quickly avoided my gaze, totally struggling to explain the situation. How could she admit that 7 years ago she got kicked out? It is totally fine here, really. Just come on up. I followed her inside. Suddenly, before she could unlock the door, a greasy landlord waddled straight over, aggressively yelling about late rent. You owe me $2,200 for the past 6 whole months. Pay up right now and bringing a guy home. Chloe completely panicked, desperately trying to silence him, but this guy only became way more arrogant. I gave you respect because you are a girl, but you clearly do not know what is good for you. You look cute enough, yet cannot even pay $2,200. No shame. I caught that absolute creep staring at my little sister, making my anger completely spike. Before he could spew another word, I pulled a massive stack of cash from my pocket and threw it right in his face. Here is $2 grand. Now pay attention here. Take this cash and vanish immediately or face my absolute fury. The greedy landlord just stared at the falling money, completely stunned. Before he could even ask a thing, I pulled Chloe inside, slamming the door. Chloe kept her head totally down, feeling way too ashamed to face the brother she deeply admired. I stayed silent, set my luggage down, opened a window, and hit the lights. The apartment was pretty old with peeling paint, but she arranged it very warmly. She had obviously lived here for years. I simply opened my suitcase. So who is showering first, you or me? Chloe, practically panicking while trying to explain her massive financial struggles, just completely froze up. You and I both saw that coming, right? She expected a heavy lecture about missing rent, but my super casual question completely caught her off guard. I grabbed my pajamas and walked closer. Chloe nervously bit her lip and squeezed her eyes totally shut, terrified I was going to hit her. She fully blamed herself for being weak. After I left, she protected absolutely nothing. She could not even go back home. Everything our mother left behind got taken away by that awful woman. Even our father changed completely. She could not even save her favorite diamond toy. Our other sisters slowly drifted away, but the intense pain she suddenly expected never came. Instead, a super warm, gentle hand just ruffled her hair. Chloe opened her eyes in pure shock, meeting my smiling face. All right, I will wash up first. I headed into the bathroom, leaving Chloe standing there in a messy mix of deep confusion and overwhelming happiness. She sniffled and immediately tidied up the room. A bit later, I stepped out, drying my hair, only to find my adorable sister just staring blankly. I honestly could not resist pinching her soft cheek. Go shower, silly! Chloe jumped, her face turning bright red. She really wanted to find a hole to hide in. Once she came out, I was already sitting on the bed, staring deeply and distantly out the bedroom window. Spotting her, I quickly waved her over. Come here, I will dry your hair. Her first instinct was to refuse. She never wanted to burden me. I just returned and must be exhausted, but my tone was way too gentle to resist. She obediently walked right over and sat down. While the warm air from the dryer flowed through her hair, she comfortably closed her eyes, but suddenly snapped them open completely. Terrified this was all a dream. Brother, she asked cautiously, are you going to leave again? My hands paused for a tiny fraction of a second before I answered her softly. No, never again. From now on, absolutely wherever I go, I am taking you with me. Completely overjoyed, massive tears streamed down her face, soaking straight into my pants. I stayed totally silent, just gently wiping those heavy tears from her eyes. I knew my little sister suffered immensely these past years. She would not say it, and I would never force her, but she will absolutely never suffer again. Not on my watch. All done. Grab that hand cream from my suitcase, I instructed. Okay. Chloe instantly jumped right up, grabbed a white tube of fancy lotion, and handed it over. I popped the cap and gestured for her hand. She obediently offered it up. The cool cream touched her skin, leaving her heart feeling incredibly warm. A girl's hands are her second face. You really must take good care of them. Ew. Chloe hummed in agreement, her voice thick with heavy emotion. The scent was fresh and elegant, never overwhelming, and she absolutely loved it instantly. This smells amazing. It is a little something I formulated myself. I smiled. If you like it, just keep it. Use it morning and night. Chloe blushed shyly, shaking her head. No, this is all yours. I laughed. That is where we leave it. Family means everything. Chloe nodded happily, immediately diving under the warm covers for the night. Let's dive right into this. She gripped my arm, pressing close like our childhood days. I gently patted her back, coaxing her to sleep. It was the single most peaceful night of sleep Chloe enjoyed in 10 years. Feeling completely safe, she mumbled sweetly in her dreams, looking just like a kid again. I wasn't sleepy at all. My eyes rested on her. Seeing the faint redness around her eyes, a heavy wave of emotion hit me hard. Later that night, while she was deeply asleep, I quietly stood up, walked to the window, and made a call. It's me, Ellen. Go look into something for me right now. Also, you need to fly here. I am not returning to headquarters yet. Have the board manage our company for now. The very next morning, Chloe groggily opened her eyes. Suddenly remembering everything, she shot up in pure panic. Nobody was in the room. She assumed it was a dream that her big brother never returned, but the faint floral scent on her hands made her heart race. She quickly scrambled out of bed and rushed toward the kitchen. The clinking utensil sounds grew louder. She arrived right in time to see me walking out, rocking an apron and holding a steaming bowl. What is wrong? It is only 6 a.m. Go back to sleep, I said softly. Seeing me, her wildly beating heart finally settled. I glanced down at her bare feet on the freezing floor and just had to scold her. How many times have I warned you, stop running around totally barefoot? You will catch a cold. The chill enters through your feet. Why are you still acting like a little kid? Grab your slippers. Hearing me nag actually made Chloe feel incredibly warm inside. She sniffled, nodded energetically, and ran to grab her slippers before washing her face. Breakfast is almost ready now, I called out warmly. Back overseas, since I was from this country, my adoptive parents hired an absolute top-tier private chef from my homeland to ensure my stomach was completely taken care of. I picked up several recipes along the way. Seeing Chloe basically inhaling the entire meal, I guessed it did not taste half bad. Slow down now. Nobody is stealing anything from you. Chloe took a big bite of perfectly crispy fried egg and happily cheered. This is so amazing. I gently wiped her mouth with a napkin. So, are you working now? The bright light in Chloe's eyes dimmed. She totally avoided my gaze, showing a hint of shame, but she answered honestly. Yes, I work at a company called Zenith Company. I softly patted her head. I will drop you off later. I did not ask why she had to work. Being the second heiress of the Sterling family, even if she did absolutely nothing but breathe, she shouldn't have spent all the massive wealth our mother left behind. I skipped asking because my people were already investigating. By the end of today, the entire situation would be totally crystal clear. Now watch closely. If she avoided talking, fine. But you and I are about to see this overprotective older brother uncover absolutely everything. If I discovered exactly who was bullying my sister, they better pray for mercy, because I certainly wouldn't show them any. You really don't have to, Chloe quickly replied. You need rest. I can easily take the bus. It is super fast, I chuckled warmly. What are you afraid I will embarrass you? Chloe's eyes widened and she shook her head frantically. No, absolutely never. I just hate troubling you. She lowered her head, terrified her current pathetic state was just a massive embarrassment to me. I am your brother. What trouble? Just then my smartphone rang loudly. I walked over to answer it. All right, I understand. We headed downstairs. The chubby landlord stood there greeting us with a sickeningly sweet smile, a complete 180 from his totally vicious attitude yesterday. But when his disgusting eyes lingered on my little sister for a second too long, I shot him a glare so freezing cold he immediately flinched and quickly looked far away. Oh, I am definitely dealing with him later, I thought. Parked next to the rundown apartment building was a glaringly bright red Rolls-Royce. Chloe literally couldn't stop staring at it. She knew her fancy cars. This custom edition was worth millions. I know exactly what you are thinking. What was this luxury beast even doing parked in these dingy slums? Let's go! Get in! Huh. Chloe was completely startled. Besides the shiny Rolls-Royce, there were only a few rusty public bicycles sitting around. Was he seriously peddling her to work? Despite her deep confusion, she obediently followed. When she walked toward those bikes, I grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the luxury car. "Get in, you will be late." Chloe's jaw completely dropped. She stared at the car, then back at me, swallowing hard. "This is your car. Yeah, if you really like it, I will give it to you. By the way, do you know how to drive yet?" Chloe shook her head, still completely stuck in a daze. Before she could fully process what was actually happening, her body automatically sank into the passenger seat. As the epic car rolled down the street, she finally snapped out of it, practically vibrating with excitement. "Is this really yours? Where did you get so much money?" "Wait, I said that wrong. You are amazing. Making money is easy for you, but this is too rich. This must be worth actual millions." I smiled, my sharp profile catching the bright morning light. "Am I really that impressive?" "Of course. You are my awesome idol. Trust me, you and I are going to love what this brother does next." Her sweet words made me pause. "Stick with me here, we are diving right in." "Just drop me at the corner," she said quickly. "I can walk to work." I nodded, pulling over the car while getting a text message from Ellen. I faced Chloe. "When does your shift end? I will pick you up. Save my number." I passed her a shiny black card with my contact info. Chloe agreed instantly, saving my contact name as Big Brother, and cheerfully jogged toward work. Over at Zenith Company, Trent Thorne waited in a flashy blue suit, constantly checking his watch with pure annoyance. Chloe knew he was there, but totally ignored him. She strolled right past. Seeing her brush him off, Trent snapped completely. He thought her playing hard to get was going way too far. "Chloe," he shouted aggressively, snatching her arm. "I am being nice to you, right? How dare you act like I am invisible? You think getting some help last night means you can rebel?" Chloe snatched her arm away, looking completely frozen. "Trent, we are done. We are completely over. Stay far away from me." Trent looked absolutely furious. "Chloe, this is your final warning. Say sorry right now, go do that hospital donation, and I will let you stay my girlfriend." Chloe let out a scoff. "Now watch closely because everything shifts here. Was this really the guy she once absolutely loved? He used to protect her, acting like a bright light in her shadowy life, giving her pure hope. But ultimately, he just caused her endless emotional pain over and over. Whenever his precious first love, Tiffany, whined about anything, no matter the real truth, Chloe always took the total blame. Trent, keep dreaming. From this moment on, I will not give Tiffany Taylor a single ounce of my energy. Just stop. Does the Thorne family want to call off the wedding anyway? Do it. I honestly could not care less about becoming Mrs. Thorne. Her big brother was back. She was totally fearless now. Trent chuckled bitterly. "Chloe, your little tantrum has limits. You really think this act works on me? I have a fancy banquet tonight. You better be there." He strolled off, feeling absolutely arrogant. In his head, there was zero chance Chloe would ever walk away. She was too obsessed. This was just a cheap trick for his attention. Chloe quickly wiped the exact sleeve spot where he grabbed her arm. Her eyes showed pure disgust. How foolish was I thinking I needed him? Meanwhile, back at my rented place, boom, I angrily threw a glass cup at the wall, smashing it completely. Several secret files sat on the table. Right before me stood a gorgeous blonde woman rocking a very sharp black business suit. "Director, from now on, call me Mr. Sterling," I cut in. "I am dropping my old title. I want my true identity kept secret still." "Got it." "Yes, Mr. Sterling," Ellen agreed. "I know what you are thinking, revenge time, seeing my fury." Ellen paused. "Do you want me to launch a hostile takeover? Right now, their company is a total mess and fading fast. With top speed, we could fully crush them in 2 weeks. I dismissed her, my gaze completely icy. "Not yet." "George Sterling, you really treated my little sister like garbage? Are you begging for total ruin? Just you wait. Tonight, I will make you regret everything." I inhaled deeply to totally chill out. "Ellen, buy this exact property right now. Purchase this whole apartment block and put it in Chloe's name." "On it, sir." Ellen was turning to leave when I stopped her. "Wait, use a cloth to pick up those broken glass pieces and toss them out. Then buy an exact copy of that cup." Confused, Ellen obeyed. Her fancy designer cloth actually cost 10 times more than the cheap glass cup, but the boss always had reasons. Chloe suddenly got my quick text telling her to fiercely reject all extra overtime. This totally annoyed her manager since Chloe was always their absolute easiest worker to use. Yet today, she was the absolute first to leave. Exhausted, I bought your favorite jasmine milk tea, I said, passing her a green cup with that jasmine logo. Chloe grabbed it, feeling a wild mix of sadness and pure joy. Since I disappeared, she completely stopped buying her favorite treat. Now, with me back, she finally got to enjoy it. Thanks, big brother. Chloe beamed, her sweet face lighting up completely. I reached out and brushed her bangs aside. My sister was way too understanding. She hid her struggles completely. Let's go get your hair styled nicely. It is looking a bit dry. Then we are hitting the mall for some fresh outfits. Chloe instantly wanted to say no, hating the idea of spending my cash. I had no clue when our proud Sterling family daughter became so painfully insecure. Maybe it happened after getting thrown out with literally zero. Reading her thoughts, I gently smiled. I know I was missing for 10 years. You suffered so much, but I swear to you from today onward you will never feel pain again. So please do not reject my help. Or do you really think I am unfit to be family? You do not have to accept me if you prefer not to. And that is where we pause, trust me. This story gets way wilder. Chloe panicked, waving fast. No way, I just totally hate being a heavy burden. All right, let's dive into this. I was wrong to push you away. Even if everything was on the line, you're still my brother. From now on, whatever happens, you tell me first. There are zero burdens when it comes to family. You are literally all I have left. If you push me away, my entire return means nothing. Hearing this, Chloe's eyes immediately filled with heavy tears. She nodded super fast, letting out a tiny emotional yes. Right after fixing her hair, we hit up an ultra-luxurious mall. I stepped outside to grab a quick call, leaving Chloe trying on dresses. Right then, two arrogant girls strutted straight into the boutique. Spotting Chloe, they totally froze. Then that surprise quickly twisted into absolute pure disgust. Kelly Lane sashayed right over her voice, practically dripping with absolute mockery. Oh my goodness, if it isn't the infamous second Miss Sterling. Long time no see. Actually buying clothes, huh? Seeing Kelly and Victoria step up, Chloe's face went totally cold. She completely ignored them, turning around to leave, but Kelly covered her mouth, giggling while checking Chloe up and down. Chloe, we are old classmates, right? Can't even say a simple hello. You absolutely reek of poverty, yet you step inside here. How embarrassing. Victoria totally jumped in. Hey, Chloe, did you hear that Trent's precious first love suddenly demanded to go abroad? Trent literally rushed to the airport to stop her hitting the top trending searches. Did you seriously miss that memo? Chloe honestly just did not care. She tried walking around them, but Kelly aggressively threw her arm out, blocking the path. Where are you going? Victoria asked a question. Chloe just glared back with ice. I do not waste my breath on completely irrelevant people. Kelly instantly flared up. Chloe, do you still think you are some high and mighty heiress? Literally everyone knows you got kicked out. If you had not clung onto Trent like an absolute leech, would you have ever gotten engaged to him? What does any of that have to do with you? Chloe shot right back. Victoria yanked Kelly away with a snicker. You are actually right, Chloe. Zero to do with us. But that beautiful dress in your hand, we want it now. Sales associate, wrap it up right now. The worker looked super apologetic. I am so sorry, ladies, but this young woman already claimed this dress. Maybe you could look at something else, Victoria absolutely exploded. What did you just say? Do you even know who I am? Chloe is a bottom-tier desk jockey at a garbage company. Her whole monthly salary cannot afford my socks. You think she can actually afford this? It is a $15,000 dress. Are you blind? Do you want to keep your job? I will call your manager and get you fired today. The associate looked totally stressed, but stubbornly held her ground. Now watch closely. She noticed the man with Chloe earlier. His aura proved he was not average. Working in luxury retail for a whole decade, she knew his custom bespoke suit was light years beyond any basic standard designer brand. Hearing all the loud drama, the manager rushed over. Spotting Kelly and Victoria, he instantly slapped on a huge fake smile. Mrs. Lane, Miss Vance, long time no see, my brand new employee just does not know the rules. Please excuse her mistake. It is just a dress. If you like it, we will wrap it up immediately. What are you waiting for? He snapped. The associate nervously replied, but this young lady definitely chose it first. She said she was going to buy it. The manager spun around toward Chloe. You said you wanted it but have not paid yet, right? Are you actually sure you are buying it? If so, pay for it right now. Chloe did not even flinch. Even if I have not paid, I said I am taking it. I am not even finished browsing. Why rush me to pay? That is literally not your store policy. The manager could not care less about policy. Kelly and Victoria were super rich socialites, while this girl wore basic, cheap clothes that probably cost less than $20 combined. How could she buy this insanely expensive dress? You and I know what's coming, right? Mrs. Sterling, this piece is not on discount. It is $15,000. Are you positive you can afford this? Your entire annual salary probably would not cover it. Kelly sneered, but Chloe remained totally unbothered. Absolutely none of your business. Victoria laughed out loud. If you want it, pay up, Chloe. If you cannot, the dress is not yours. Do you not understand basic logic? Exactly, pay up, the manager echoed. A sharp, mocking glint flashed right in Chloe's eyes. What a pathetic bunch of snobs. When my brother stepped outside, he left a little card with me. The moment Chloe whipped out that black card, Kelly and Victoria's eyes practically bulged out of their heads. Impossible, Kelly shrieked out loud. A black card. Where did you get a black card that absolutely has to be fake? She furiously glared at the dark card in Chloe's hand. Global, limitless black cards were only issued to the ultra-wealthy or the immensely powerful elites. The manager's attitude pulled a crazy instant 180. His face instantly bloomed into a bright, apologetic smile, nervously rubbing his hands together. Distinguished VIP guest, I am so incredibly sorry for my previous offense. Please tell me whatever you need. These are all brand new arrivals. Take your time. Trust me, you'll love this cliffhanger. Victoria pointed at the card and suddenly yelled, Aha! Steal a card and I'm calling the police. Chloe just smirked. Do it! Victoria was absolutely convinced the card was a fake. Let's dive right into this drama. You and I both know a poor clerk like Chloe shouldn't have that card. Pure theft. Chloe just laughed, completely unbothered. Victoria, are you crazy? If it's that easy to steal a legendary card, go try it yourself. Victoria just ground her teeth. You are honestly so annoying, Kelly sneered, backing her friend up. Chloe, you definitely don't own that. If it's not stolen, it's a cheap fake. Victoria nodded hard. Manager, you better listen up. She's practically broke, just a clerk making peanuts. When that fancy card declines, don't say we didn't try to warn you here. The manager's smile froze doubt, clearly setting in. Suddenly, Kelly just reached right over and forcefully yanked the designer dress away from Chloe. Caught totally off guard, Chloe held on tight. Rip, the expensive fabric completely tore. Kelly just raised her eyebrows and smirked like a villain. Oops, so sorry. Total accident. But hey, you love it, right? And with that ultimate black card, you can definitely afford it. Chloe's hands were physically shaking with pure anger. Victoria laughed cruelly. Exactly, Kelly. She's rich now, right? This is just pocket change for her. Chloe glared. You two are seriously crossing the line. Chloe clenched her jaw tightly. I'm not buying this ruined dress. The manager immediately started panicking. Wait, it tore in your hands, you have to pay. But then a brave associate spoke up. Manager, that other lady clearly ripped the dress. It wasn't this customer's fault at all. Kelly didn't even flinch. She just glared at the associate. Are you blaming me? I just wanted a closer look. If she hadn't held on to it so insanely hard, it wouldn't have ripped. Watch closely here. You and I both know perfectly well these two bullies are just teaming up to completely humiliate Chloe in public. Kelly Lane, you have absolutely zero shame. If you're so obsessed with Trent, chase him yourself.
Even if you begged on your knees, he'd still ignore you.
Hearing that absolute roast, Kelly completely snapped. Excuse me, I'm going to teach you a serious lesson. Furious! She threw her hand back, getting ready to brutally slap Chloe. But Chloe quickly dodged. Kelly totally lost her balance and crashed incredibly hard, right onto the floor, screaming, You little brat, you dodged! Victoria aggressively lunged forward to help her friend. In her mind, she figured hitting Chloe meant absolutely nothing. No consequences at all. Did this nobody really think she could defy them? But right before Victoria could even touch Chloe, someone grabbed her wrist with terrifying strength. She was forcefully shoved back. Victoria spun around in shock, coming face to face with my absolute suffocating presence. My eyes were dangerously sharp. My whole aura was completely overwhelming. One single look from me and a terrifying pressure crushed her completely. Who are you? She stuttered nervously, but I just casually shoved her aside. She stumbled, almost falling flat. I walked straight up to Chloe. Are you hurt? Looking at me. Chloe felt a massive wave of emotion hit her. It hits hard, doesn't it? For 10 whole years, nobody had ever actually cared to ask her that. She just shook her head, offering a really sweet smile. No, brother. I'm okay. They just ruined the pretty dress I picked. Kelly and Victoria were absolutely paralyzed with shock. I casually texted someone, and just seconds later, Ellen marched right into the boutique. Call the authorities, I told Ellen calmly. Report these two for assault and damaging property, and make sure they pay full price. Hearing that, both girls immediately started panicking. Wait, why the heck are you making us pay for this? This wasn't our fault, they yelled. Oh, and grab the store's security footage and post it everywhere online. I added like it was nothing. Both their faces instantly went completely pale. Who do you think you are? What's your connection to Chloe? Do you even know who our families are? Before they could scream more absolute nonsense, a whole group rushed over. The manager saw these huge VIPs coming and instantly bowed deeply. CEO Vance, welcome. But those powerful men totally ignored the manager, walking straight toward me instead. They bowed with ultimate respect. Mr. Sterling, I am so incredibly sorry you had to deal with this awful shopping experience today. To make up for it, absolutely everything in this store is entirely free for you today. Acceptable. Kelly and Victoria were completely shell-shocked. Even Chloe was staring at me in pure awe. Who exactly was her brother to make these legendary guys bow? Mr. Vance, who was actually Victoria's powerful uncle, glared right at his niece. Are you deaf? Apologize to Mr. Sterling right now. Stripped of all her fake confidence, Victoria nervously bowed her head. I am so sorry, sir. Please just forgive me. Meanwhile, Kelly was standing there totally frozen, feeling completely betrayed. She pointed shaking fingers at Victoria. Kelly's family was just new money. She acted tough, but she definitely knew they couldn't even compare to the elite Vance family, so she had zero choice left but to surrender. She bowed her head too. I was wrong. But honestly, I wasn't going to play nice today. Let the authorities handle it. These brats attacked an innocent girl and destroyed expensive property for no reason. So what do you and I take from this? Karma always strikes. I offered peace, they chose chaos. Victoria's uncle instantly knew they were finished. Stick with me here. Mr. Vance storms over, slapping Victoria hard. You absolute fool, apologize to the lady immediately. Victoria is completely humiliated. Her pride vanishes instantly, but saying sorry to Chloe, that feels like choking on broken glass. Kelly just grits her teeth. She absolutely cannot risk jail time. Sorry, Chloe.
We never should have picked on you. We will replace the dress. Apologies.
Victoria jumps in, begging, Chloe, remembering our school days, please let it slide. We swear it stops now. I just glance over at my sister, totally putting the ball in her court. Watching these bullies bow down, Chloe is absolutely stunned. My brother is insane. A few words and they are literally pleading. Not wanting to cause any more trouble for me, she whispers, just drop it. Let them walk away. Honestly, I am pretty annoyed by that. Letting these brats off easily is not an option. If I had been even a second late, that nasty slap would have hit my sister. An icy glare flashes across my face. Handling this privately takes more than a weak apology. Paying for the dress is bare minimum, but my sister was totally terrified just now. You owe her for emotional damage. I definitely do not need the cash, and their pocket change means absolutely nothing to me. You and I both know letting them walk is completely unacceptable. But since Chloe wants peace, I hold myself back from pushing harder. Ultimately, they each wire $50,000 in apology fees right on the spot before turning tail and running off. Becoming an internet joke is their biggest fear. I kick back on the fancy VIP sofa, crossing my legs, casually scrolling while Chloe tests out dress after beautiful dress. Eventually, I just wave the staff over, box every single piece up and ship them here. Chloe completely panics, waving her arms. No way, this is way too much. I will never wear all this. I instantly shut that down. I am rich. Spoiling you is exactly what wealth is for. For the absolute first time ever, Chloe just blew through tens of thousands of dollars in a few short hours. Her heart is still pounding. Suddenly, her phone buzzes with a new text. You useless brat. Tonight is Aunt Linda's birthday party. Show up or I swear I will burn everything in your bedroom down to absolute ashes. She clenches her phone hard, a huge wave of unfairness and pure frustration bubbling up. For years, she always just forced her pride down. Keeping quiet and staying invisible was the only way to keep the peace. Dragging others into her mess was her biggest fear. Right beside her, I silently read the entire message. Back in the day, my dad was totally pathetic and spineless. Mom was the absolute boss. 90% of the Sterling family fortune was built from her endless grinding. Honestly, George Sterling only scored my mom because he had a pretty little face. The guy was a textbook leech living off her success. Watch closely because 10 years later, this pathetic little lapdog is actually trying to act like a fierce guard dog. I pat her shoulder gently. Tonight, we are going back together. Time to return to the Sterling estate and put this dog in check. But Dad replaced Mom. Ever since Linda moved in, the entire house completely flipped upside down. Hearing her shaking voice, I easily feel her deep insecurity and massive heartbreak. Relax, I promise, my chest hurting. I will handle this. Chloe stares up at my confident profile. I am a perfect copy of Mom. Her fierce energy mixed with Dad's looks wrapped in a completely overwhelming and powerful aura. For the first time, her lonely soul feels totally secure and deeply protected. Cut to the Sterling mansion. George slams the table hard, screaming at the pointy-faced lady right in front of him. That stubborn brat Chloe is getting way too bold. Look at this chaos, daring to cancel the marriage. I am absolutely seething right now. Just wait until she walks in. I will teach her a brutal lesson. Linda just smiles sweetly, stepping up to rub his tense shoulders. Her tone is pure poison dripping in honey. Oh, darling, why get mad at the kid? I am just the stepmom. They always say a stepmom never matches the real thing. It makes perfect sense that they despise me so much. It is my birthday tonight, and I just wanted a happy family dinner together. With the Thorns visiting, we could have planned the wedding details so peacefully. Who could have guessed she would randomly tell Trent she wanted out? George grabs her hand, sighing heavily. Linda, you are just too pure. That brat has zero clue how good she has it. You always care, and they just treat you like garbage. Relax, she is definitely showing up for your party tonight. Suddenly, he takes a real look at Linda. That elegant dark red dress and the glowing diamonds, they all belonged to his dead wife. The memory of that dominant woman hits him, making him scowl. Did I not explicitly say to keep your hands off her stuff? Linda instantly freezes. Fake tears immediately flood her eyes. Darling, I really did not mean to steal her belongings. Since Chloe is visiting, I just thought wearing this might give her a tiny piece of her mother back. I meant absolutely no harm. Can you believe this? George's anger instantly evaporates. He completely melts, whispering softly, Okay, it is all my fault. All right, you and I are diving in. The maid just announced Trent. Trent totally skipped his buddy's party. He waited forever for Chloe, and furious about her wanting to break off their engagement, he marched straight over to her dad, George, complaining. Knowing it was Linda's big birthday bash, he figured Chloe just had to show up. Unless Chloe begged for forgiveness tonight, canceling this engagement was completely off the table. George looks shocked. Trent, why are you here? I only expected your parents today. Uncle George, I came for Chloe. Where is she? Before he answers, Linda laughs cheerfully. She is on her way. Uncle George just told her to be super safe driving here. Honestly, why rent a place when she has this gorgeous house? It makes absolutely no sense. Trent immediately nods along. Trent scoffs. She is totally ungrateful. Last night, she literally screamed about breaking our engagement and cutting all ties with me. I tried being the bigger person and found her today, but she just completely ignored my existence. George sneers right back. Do not worry. I will teach her a massive lesson. Now watch this exact moment. Chloe steps inside wearing a stunning white dress, leaving the entire room completely speechless. Trent has never seen her look this gorgeous and regal before. His heart totally skips a beat. Linda narrows her eyes, wildly jealous. Some guests whisper, Oh my goodness, you guys do not recognize her. That is Chloe Sterling, the second Miss and Trent's fiancée. She is incredibly beautiful. I heard she moved away ages ago. Chloe ignores them, marching straight toward George. She ignores Trent and his parents completely. Staring only at George, she simply says, I am back. I am packing up everything in my room. Linda tries grabbing her hand, but Chloe coldly dodges, freezing Linda's fake smile. Chloe, I know you dislike me, but we are family. Why act so cold about taking your things away? This is your home. Come back anytime. Chloe just laughs mockingly. Come back anytime. 7 years ago, you kicked me out. You never once considered letting me return. This house was my mother's, and you hijacked it. I was helpless back then, but things have changed. Her brother was back to protect her. Gathering all her courage, Chloe speaks up loud and clear. What family? You are just a mistress. You kicked me out, and now you dare to say these pretty words. Have you no shame? Because I feel totally embarrassed just looking at you. I know what you are thinking. Linda is shocked, right? A calculating glint flashes in her eyes. She grabs George's arm, crying fake tears. Hubby, Chloe hates me. I will just leave you all alone. George completely explodes. Chloe, you really think you are tough now? How dare you disrespect Aunt Linda like that? Apologize right now or I will get physical. Chloe just smirks. Wanna hit me? Go ahead. The Thorne family and some friends are watching everything. It is a small birthday bash, but highly dramatic. Mrs. Thorne Trent's snobby mother never even respected the Sterling family anyway. Holding her wine, she glares at Chloe. First time seeing a girl with such awful manners. Arguing with your dad immediately, Chloe Sterling, our Thorne family does not need you. George completely panics. He cannot afford losing this marriage alliance. Forcing a smile, he replies, "She is just immature. I will discipline her later. Trent, you have been engaged to my daughter for 3 whole years. When is the wedding?" Mrs. Thorne interrupts. "Your family is barely worthy of ours." "You know your awful finances. If my son did not pity Chloe, she would never get this grand engagement. I will say this right now. If she wants to marry into the Thorne family, she must master the arts, handle chores flawlessly, and serve her parents-in-law perfectly. And in a prominent family like ours, marriage does not equal monogamy. If my son likes another woman outside, your daughter cannot interfere at all." George frantically nods like a bobblehead. "Of course, that is how it should be." Trent stands right there, giving Chloe a completely smug, arrogant look, basically saying with his eyes, "See? Your family begs mine. Only I can dump you." Mrs. Thorne continues, also once married, 0 working. She represents the Thorne family's reputation. Running around outside every single day is completely disgraceful. So what do you and I make of this toxic family? She must bear a son, otherwise she is useless. She has to fulfill every single duty, serving their precious son perfectly. From cooking to cleaning, everything must be flawless. Stick with me, we are diving into some wild drama. George nodded eagerly, expecting a woman to completely obey. Trent looked down at Chloe like a generous king granting a massive favor. Just one simple little request. If Chloe becomes his wife, she must accept Tiffany. Tiffany is his savior, and every single month she needs her energy. You must accompany me to the hospital to give it. Linda smiled brightly. Trent truly values gratitude so very much. Chloe is beyond lucky to actually marry someone as incredible as you are. If Trent did not actually like her, I would never let her marry into the prestigious Thorne family to enjoy such incredible wealth. George quickly chimed in. Trent is absolutely right. Tiffany saved him, making her your total savior too. Giving a little vitality every month will not finish you. Why make a huge fuss? Chloe felt her shattered heart shoved into a dark, endless abyss without any hope. She was entirely used to the harsh insults hurled by her own family. But when betrayal struck her heart again, it was incredibly painful. She was completely fading away. Since her dear brother left 10 years ago, everything changed. The strict man standing before her was definitely not her gentle childhood father. Someone demanded to casually drain his own daughter's vitality, and he simply said it would not end her. They wanted an obedient servant making outrageous requests that treated her like a useless object instead of a real person. And yet her father just smiled and agreed. How pathetic and incredibly sad. Now here is where you and I need to watch closely. She stopped hoping he would change because her absolute favorite person finally returned. Nobody could ever possibly replace her older brother in her heart. Even if her mother returned, she simply could not. She and her sisters were completely raised by their older brother. He meant absolutely everything. Well then, it seems I truly lack the fortune to enjoy this. Chloe's voice echoed loudly. Trent, I made my stance perfectly clear last night. I want to cancel this entire engagement. I refuse to marry you. Mrs. Thorne, take those ridiculous rules and preach them to a wall. Who actually wants to marry into the arrogant Thorne family? What does Trent Xavier have to do with me? Why should I give her my vitality? Who gave you the right to demand that if you are so capable, donate your own energy? Chloe finally unleashed all her bottled-up emotions. Trent's parents were completely furious. They were highly respected elites in high society, now being publicly humiliated by a defiant young junior. The Sterling family daughter truly lacks basic manners. Trent's face turned into a storm. Chloe, who gave you the nerve to disrespect us? I warned you that playing hard to get would fail. Keep throwing this childish tantrum and our engagement gets canceled right here today. Mrs. Thorne furiously gritted her teeth. Chloe Sterling, you genuinely do not know the immensity of heaven and earth. I know what you are thinking, the audacity. My son only agreed out of pity. You are definitely not worthy. You really do not know how to be grateful. George raised his hand, fully preparing to strike Chloe. But his hand was blocked by an iron grip. A lightning-fast kick swept out. Bam! George flew backward like a broken kite, crashing violently into a heavy table. Those expensive ceramics and fancy glassware shattered instantly, the piercing noise echoing loudly everywhere. Following that chaos was the resounding smack of a slap. A bright red mark instantly bloomed on Trent's cheek. A tall figure now protected Chloe. I stood there in a black suit, my cold gaze sweeping over them. My icy voice felt like a sharp blade slicing straight into their hearts. Where did these stray dogs come from, barking loudly in front of me? My sharp eyes locked onto Trent with pure, unhidden sarcasm. You dare threaten my little sister? The weak Thorne family thinks they can actually show off their pathetic power before me. George clumsily staggered to his feet. Before the intense pain registered, he was ready to scream. But when he saw me standing right next to Chloe, he completely froze as if his strength vanished. Thud. He dropped to his knees. His lips trembled, muttering a name in pure disbelief. Bianca White. He shook his head violently. That incredible woman was long gone. But the fierce man standing before him was young, leading George to a truly terrifying and impossible conclusion. She pointed directly at me, her voice trembling. You are Henry. My face matched that woman exactly. The exact woman who made Linda feel completely inferior, always too afraid to even lift her head. Yet my aura felt colder. I perfectly inherited the dominant traits of George and Bianca. With just one simple look, a massive chill terrified Linda. George finally snapped back to reality. Henry, it really is you. You survived. So what do you and I take from this epic return 10 years ago? This teenager already possessed terrifying talent, sharp cunning, and truly ruthless methods. He fully inherited Bianca's frightening coldness, honestly surpassing her. All right, stick with me here. George never once held the upper hand against me. I glared right at him. Were you hoping I was gone forever, Father? George shook his head frantically. No, absolutely not, Henry. Dad just never expected you to return safely. I am just so happy. His shaky voice was full of fake flattery. Unease quickly washed over Linda. She forced a stiff smile, trying to sound super gentle. So you are Henry. I am your stepmother. Why would you ever strike your own father? She tried defending herself and George while totally dragging my name, but I completely cut her off with a voice like pure ice. Who the heck are you? I am disciplining my family. When did a stray dog eating our leftovers get to suddenly interrupt, actually thinking she is the real master of this house? Linda turned completely purple. She felt unbelievably humiliated. Seeing her precious son take a massive hit, Mrs. Thorne went totally, absolutely ballistic. Where did this little brat come from? You dare strike my son? Are you actually begging to be ruined? I completely ignored her angry rant. My eyes stayed glued to Trent, my tone dropping a few degrees. I hit him, so what? I am sparing you because you are older. Otherwise, I would not waste breath. Mrs. Thorne trembled, totally speechless. I looked right at Trent. You are Trent, right? Did you fail to hear my sister last night, or are you just deaf? She said break up, end the engagement, yet you still dare to bother her. Now pay close attention here. Exposed and completely humiliated in front of everyone after that slap, Trent absolutely could not swallow his anger. His face shifted between red and white. He turned to Chloe, totally furious. Cancel it. Chloe, do you really believe I cannot live without you? Get out. Linda panicked, grabbing Trent fast while trying to drag George away from the mess. Honey, talk some sense into Chloe. How can she just cancel it like that? She glared at Chloe with pure resentment, muttering, cancel it then. Let us see who marries her. Trent's parents stormed off angry, leaving Trent behind, but his eyes were totally glued to Chloe. Seeing her looking so stunning and coldly distant, he felt something entirely new. This was definitely not the timid Chloe who always pleased him. Deep down, he delusionally thought she was just playing hard to get. After 3 whole years, how could she let go? She must still love him a lot. He pushed down his rage and forced a gentle smile. Chloe, I will not hold today against you at all. I know you feel hurt because of Tiffany, but she saved me. I cannot just abandon her now. As for canceling the engagement, I know you only spoke out of anger. I will give you some time to think it over. Hearing his totally hypocritical words, Chloe felt nothing but freezing, absurd emptiness. Looking at his super fake face, she just found it hilarious. You and I both know he is awful. She calmly dodged his reaching hand, taking a solid step back from him. Her voice was completely flat but totally resolute. Trent, stop lying to yourself. You only saw a stand-in. Because you helped me once before, I will not hold the past against you. But from this exact moment on, we have absolutely zero relationship with each other. Whether she saved you or not has nothing to do with me. Canceling this fake engagement is what I actually want. Believe it or not, I am not playing games. Trent felt like he took a massive hit. It felt like something was completely slipping through his fingers and he just could not catch it. Real panic crossed his eyes, but his massive ego made him think he still had control. He reached out again, but Chloe stepped away, her eyes icy. It is impossible. Hear me out perfectly. Chloe Sterling do not want you at all anymore. Who do you think you are? You are definitely not worth it. Her words completely ripped right through his fake facade. Totally humiliated, his face instantly flushed crimson. He tightened his fists and roared out loud, "Fine, have it your way. The Thorne family and the Sterling family are totally done forever." But George, completely terrified out of his mind by my glare, dared not say a word. He felt that if he even breathed wrong, I would kick him into next week. No matter how much Linda tugged at him, he stayed frozen, perfectly still like a solid statue. Suddenly, George seemed to magically remember he was supposed to have a spine. He puffed out his chest, reminding himself he was the dad. Me striking him was a huge act of rebellion, and I actually dared to criticize his face. He sternly yelled at Chloe, "Stop making a huge scene. You and Trent have been together for 3 years. If you break up now, who is going to want you?" Chloe bit her lip, that familiar old pain returning. They always claimed being engaged to Trent was her ultimate blessing, that she really had to be super grateful and never act out at all. But they never cared about the heavy wounds Trent gave her. I laughed coldly, my voice dripping with pure dominance. Who says nobody wants my sister? Great guys are everywhere. Is Trent the only man left alive on this earth? What do you and I make of this? George choked up while Linda faked an innocent peacemaker smile. Let's dive right into the drama. Someone actually told Henry you should never ever ruin a marriage. George echoed this, acting like they were all just looking out for Chloe's best interests. That absolute jerk. Trent smirked down at Chloe, acting like a king granting a generous pardon today. He claimed he would still marry her if she finally behaved. Terrified, Chloe immediately grabbed my arm tightly and buried her face into my shoulder. I stared at Trent with utter disgust and pure contempt. Is the Thorne family seriously so broke they cannot afford a basic mirror? Look at your own pathetic reflection. You are absolute trash. Yet you actually dare to stand right here acting all incredibly high and super mighty. Willing to marry my sister? Take a good look at yourself and ask if you are genuinely worthy. After getting physically slapped and completely humiliated, Trent lost his mind. He furiously screamed about me being her brother. "I am not afraid of you," he yelled. I did not even bother looking, simply issuing a freezing cold command to escort the guest out. Guards waiting outside immediately marched in fiercely, dragging Trent away as he wildly screamed to be released, yelling about his elite family status. Trent violently struggled and cursed about our extreme nerve treating him this badly. His pathetic shouting finally faded away as they hauled him outside. The massive hall finally went completely silent. George watched Trent disappear, then immediately started blaming me. He angrily yelled that I was actively ruining the Sterling family and our major path to success. He complained about destroying the Thorne family alliance. Calling me utterly unfilial, he demanded to know my exact problem for smashing everything upon returning home. Egged on by sneaky Linda, George confidently reclaimed his patriarch persona fully, acting like the ultimate absolute boss of the entire Sterling family. I was supposedly just a returning kid committing absolute mutiny by boldly defying him. I simply gave Linda a completely indifferent, cold glance. Real guilt quickly flashed in her eyes before she looked at George. My icy voice was completely laced with incredibly subtle mockery. 10 years apart, and your loud voice has definitely gotten much stronger, father. But have you completely forgotten? Watch this epic shutdown. I am the sole legal heir to the Sterling Group. You have happily ridden my coattails so long you completely forgot your proper place. George was completely dumbfounded. It was true. The sole heir to the Sterling Group was actually me. Even Chloe and my sisters had 0 shares. George himself only owned an absolutely pathetic 1% assault. Linda gripped her hands tightly and interjected, begging me to basically reconsider since my father managed things while I was totally gone for 10 long years. She claimed he worked totally to the bone, keeping the massive Sterling Group perfectly stable. She angrily cried that I returned just to fiercely snatch the whole company away, demanding if a son should behave this terribly. I completely glared right at her eyes, acting like literal throwing daggers. I calmly asked her actual name again. Linda was truly shocked, but confusedly tried to formally introduce herself. She claimed her name was Lane. Before she finished, I coldly cut her off. Our real name is absolutely Sterling. Linda instantly fully froze. Hearing the muffled giggles from the staff, she finally realized what happened. She clenched her fists, cursing fiercely inwardly. George tried defending her angrily, calling me an absolute bastard for daring to publicly humiliate her. But my freezing next sentence chilled his spine. I remember firmly declaring that nobody is allowed to touch my mother's private belongings. Linda trembled, her face draining of color. After Bianca passed away, I had set a strict iron rule. We saw this coming, right? Her bedroom clothes and precious jewelry were strictly off limits. Yet right now, Linda was shamelessly wearing my mother's absolute favorite necklace and dress. Rage and sorrow flared in my eyes as painful memories of my mother flooded my mind. George guiltily avoided my cold gaze. Feeling the crushing pressure radiating from me, Linda pulled George's sleeve. Her voice quivered as she shamelessly played the innocent victim. She fake cried, swearing she never meant harm. She claimed she just wanted Chloe to see her as a caring mother figure. She whined that since moving in, the kids have never been close and always opposed her. She could handle it, but he is their true, real father. She never wanted us to be unfilial to him. Hearing this pathetic lie, George's heart melted into a puddle. Thinking Linda was the only one devoted to him, he put an arm around her, looking up at me. He claimed Linda truly never meant it at all. Your mother has been gone for years. Keeping those clothes is a huge waste. If Linda likes them, she can just wear them. We are family, right? Who is family with you people? Chloe screamed, her childlike voice cracking with deep despair. My mother is gone. What right does she have to wear my mother's clothes? This is still my mother's house. George looked displeased and barked, ordering the wretched girl to shut her mouth. I gently held shaking Chloe, then stepped forward violently, ripping the heavy necklace straight off Linda's awful neck. She shrieked in sudden pain. An angry red mark appeared on her neck. She clutched her throat, wailing miserably. I looked at the necklace in my hand, my mother's beautiful favorite piece. Seeing it tainted made my heart clench, feeling as if I had failed her. Trust me, things are wild. Seeing Linda's neck, George shouted at me, heartbroken. What are you doing, rebellious son? She is your stepmother. All right, stick with me here. We are about to watch the ultimate ice-cold comeback completely unfold today. The files were completely right. George was not the father he used to be. Holding back was no longer an option. After hurting my sisters, did he even have the right to talk about family? Faking her pain, Linda grabbed George to play peacemaker. It is totally fine, honey. He just came back home today. Please do not argue. He has his reasons. Henry, you did not mean that right. She played the victim perfectly, but I snapped back. I meant every word. Stop acting, you make me sick. Then my eyes locked right onto her dress. That dress you are wearing, do you need me to have someone strip it off piece by piece, or will you remove it yourself? Linda never expected zero mercy from me. Crying totally fake tears, she pulled George close. Mocking George, I offered a chance just for his dignity. Take my mother's clothes off right this second. She doesn't deserve to wear them. Glaring at Linda, I asked, do you not have parents? Did they forget to teach you to leave other people's things alone? Who exactly gave you permission? Or did my mom email you from above last night saying you could wear her dress to your party? You can literally feel the heavy tension right now. The staff whispered, completely taking my side. The young master is right. Those belong to his mom. Basic respect for those who passed away. Exactly. Mr. Sterling is totally wrong here. Even if his first wife passed, her daughter is here. Plus, he is not even legally married to this woman. Linda felt like ice water just drenched her. Pure shame swallowed her completely. For 10 years, she acted like the highly respected Mrs. Sterling. Tonight, everything was destroyed by this sudden brat. I know she was absolutely panicking now. Leaning into her act, Linda's voice trembled. I shouldn't have touched your mom's things without asking. I only wanted everyone to be happy. Her sad words almost made people sympathize. Heartbroken George suddenly roared, Enough! It is just a dress. Why cause such a massive scene? Since you just returned, I stayed completely silent. But you must remember I am your father. You have no right to question me. Smirking coldly, I stared right back. So what, George? Think you can scare me? I could easily disown you as my father. It is not hard at all. George shook with pure rage, face red, completely unable to speak. Ignoring him, I grabbed Chloe's hand and walked upstairs. My cold voice echoed loudly. This house is in my name. Unwanted people leave. I turned right to the security guards. Toss her things and my great father outside. You dare, George roared. I am your father. Treat me like this and karma will strike. Walking away, I answered with pure, heavy sarcasm. Oh, so you can kick my sister out of the house, but I cannot kick you out. Need a quick reminder, the whole Sterling family is mine. Now watch closely. This is where everything completely flips. Anyone touching my things pays. I grabbed a glass and smashed it down. Crash it shattered perfectly exactly like their broken fate. That loud sound made George stumble backward. Linda turned pale. She had worked too hard clawing into the Sterling family. She refused to get kicked out now. Henry, you are an absolute monster. Society will curse you for this, Linda shrieked. Pausing, I flashed a mysterious smile. That makes sense. Kicking you out now could ruin my perfect reputation. Fine, stay. My sudden change completely confused them. They missed my angle until I led Chloe to a room while George sat back down. Biting her lip, Linda refused defeat. Honey, your son goes too far. George comfortingly patted her hand. Do not worry. The kid is stubborn, but I am dad. He would never actually kick me out. He is just talking big. Relax. But the house was mine. Despite their years of scheming, they could never transfer ownership. Why? Because unless I was legally declared gone forever, those family assets belonged purely to me. Even if I passed away without an heir, my sisters were next. They would never get a dime. They never expected my return. Walking Chloe down the second-floor hallway, I finally pushed a door open. Inside was a completely strange, totally unfamiliar room. It was newly decorated with someone else's style. Every single thing from my memories was completely gone. I clenched my fists. Sneering from the stairs, Linda spat out 2 cruel words. Burned it. Smack. Trust me. You and I are going to love this. A massive slap echoed. Screaming, Linda crashed straight onto the floor. Stick with me. This gets wild. George runs in, sees Linda on the floor, and screams, Henry, what are you doing? She is my wife. Your mom has been gone for years now. Am I not allowed to move on? Spotting Chloe peeking out, I flash a totally innocent smile. Dad, I am so wrongfully accused here. I literally did not do anything. I just walked over to ask a simple question and boom! She threw herself onto the floor. She actually slapped herself to frame me. Hearing this insane twisting of facts, Linda is absolutely shaking with fury. She points right at me, screaming, You are talking complete nonsense. Hubby, look at my face. He obviously hit me. Chloe steps out completely serious. I saw the whole thing too. She slapped herself. She is totally trying to frame my brother. Linda nearly passes out from pure rage, viciously cursing the two of us. George looks at us playing innocent, half-believing, half-doubting Linda's wild story. I coldly repeat my question. Where are my things? George hesitates, stuttering nervously. In the storage room. My eyes turn incredibly cold, giving George a sharp pang of guilt. He softens his tone right away, adding a tiny touch of flattery. I just thought leaving your room empty was a total waste, so I let your sister stay there. We have plenty of rooms. You can pick whichever one you want. Now pay attention here. Hearing this, memories of my mom rush back. She was conquering the business world, so Dad stayed home to play with us. He even made a pressed bookmark by hand just because I loved autumn leaves. Now he casually tells me to pick a random room. No wonder my sister was completely heartbroken. Everything really had changed. I smirk. Have you forgotten, Dad? You once said I was the firstborn and you decorated this room all by yourself.
You said I would always be its only master.
Those words strike George hard instantly, unlocking his old, deeply sealed memories. He used to love us so dearly. But when Bianca passed away, society totally mocked him as a toy boy, a man living entirely in his wife's shadow. He changed. He refused to remember the past. Enough, he snaps, looking totally agitated. It is just a room. Is it really worth all this fuss? I smirk, hiding a stray tear that threatens to fall, and smoothly turn to the guards. Men smash it. The guards swing sledgehammers, storming right into the room, smashing the walls and destroying the furniture. Henry, are you insane? George roars out. Linda rushes forward to stop them. Stop it! Don't touch my daughter's things! Get out! Years ago, seeing this room was spacious, bright, and had perfect feng shui, she ruthlessly forced her own daughter right into it. Chloe and the others tried stopping her, but failed. They were bullied, forced to kneel, locked in dark rooms, and completely starved. Eventually, they had to yield. Now she is finally remembering the reputation of Henry Sterling, the true #1 young master of high society. I just want to redecorate my room, I state coldly. There used to be some filthy trash in here and it bothers me. Keep smashing. If anyone gets in the way, do not worry about my face. Just swing the hammer! "Henry, you unfilial monster," George bellows. Following my direct orders, a guard raises his huge hammer, completely terrifying Linda. Her face goes totally pale. She stumbles backward and finally faints. George quickly rushes her back to their room. I gently pinch Chloe's chubby cheeks. "All right, let's head back to your room to sleep." After taking a shower, I notice Chloe looking around her room with totally blank eyes. She curls up in a corner, hugging her knees, looking incredibly insecure. As the wind blows the curtains, she flinches, looking around wildly. Dark memories of being bullied flood back, making her tremble uncontrollably. Tears stream down her face. She is completely terrified, not knowing what they would use to scare her this time around. The awful pain of having chilly water poured into her eyes is something she will never, ever forget. You and I both feel this tension, right? Drying my hair, I notice a strange smell in here. We definitely cannot sleep here tonight. I turn, expecting to see Chloe, but she is huddled in the corner. My heart totally clenches. I run over quickly. "Chloe, Chloe, what is wrong?" Her eyes are completely hollow, like a puppet whose strings were cut. "Can you hear me?" "It is me, your brother. Look at me." As if I hit a sensitive trigger, Chloe violently pushes me away. "My brother is not gone. My brother is not gone. Get away." Seeing her like this with my background in psychology, I know she has suffered some severe trauma. I pull her into a tight hug. "Chloe, don't be afraid. I am here. No one will ever hurt you with me around." Chloe shakes her head frantically. "Don't touch me, help, help! Don't touch me, help, help!" Then she bites down super hard on my arm. I do not utter a single sound, only hugging her tighter. My voice soothing. "Don't be afraid. I am here. No one will hurt you." Smelling the injury, Chloe finally snaps out of it. She looks up in panic, releasing my arm. Trembling, she grabs my hand, sobbing hysterically. "No, no, brother, I didn't mean to." She throws herself straight into my arms. I gently comfort her, but she starts slapping herself. "It's my fault I hurt you, I'm sorry. It's my fault. That is where we leave it." I grab her hands. "Chloe, it's okay, I'm back. Don't blame yourself." Crying uncontrollably, she pours out everything. "Let's dive in, brother. They picked on me. Dad promised a big party for my 18th birthday. Aunt Linda's nephew tried to humiliate her. She struck his head with a vase, injuring him badly. Instead of helping, they called her despicable and blamed her. Their own dad kicked her out with absolutely nothing." And meeting Trent. That was not their first encounter. 3 years back, at 18 years old, she was wandering the streets and nearly got hit by his expensive car. He just tossed some money at her. My arm was badly hurt from her bite, but I did not even flinch. Hearing this tragic story, my eyes burned with fury. I will never let them walk away. I will make them pay. A fierce energy ignited in my eyes as Chloe obediently nestled right into my arms. "Brother, can you make me some black chicken noodles?" Back when we were little, your black chicken noodles were my absolute favorite thing. "I will help you knead the dough later, okay?" My gentle voice acted like a bright light, piercing her inner darkness. Those black chicken noodles were one of her few warm memories. Chloe sniffled, wiped away her tears, and gently shook her head. "No, your arm is injured. I will not eat. Can we go to the hospital?" She stared at the bite mark, completely filled with guilt. "All right, hospital first." I bandaged the wound temporarily and led her outside. Downstairs, Linda heard the commotion. Watching us leave, she smirked triumphantly and went back to bed. But the second she lay down, the entire mansion shook with the deafening sound of walls shattering. Before walking out, I ordered my men to demolish all of their rooms. "Now pay attention here." At the hospital, Chloe stared at my bandaged arm, feeling extremely guilty. It was super late when we finally reached the rented apartment. Not wanting to bother me, she insisted she was not hungry. She also noticed the chubby landlord was not playing games downstairs like he usually did. Seeing her intense guilt, I spoke gently. "Chloe, I know it was a panic response. I do not blame you, and I never will. You are my biological sister. Please stop blaming yourself, okay?" I gently ruffled her hair. "If you want to make it up to me, bring me a basin of hot water so I can soak my feet." Chloe nodded, eyes still teary but shining with the pure warmth of being loved. At bedtime, she worried about tossing and bumping my injured arm, stubbornly insisting on sleeping on the living room sofa. I just laughed. "The injury is on the outside of my arm. How are you going to bump it? Get in bed, it is late." Chloe obediently crawled under the covers. All night long, she cried in her sleep, her body shaking. I gently wiped her tears, holding her close, using my body warmth to completely chase away those terrible nightmares. She fell asleep. You and I know what comes next. Staring at the night sky, I called Ellen. Investigate Linda's nephew and George's friends. I want those complete files on my desk by early tomorrow morning. Ellen, initially sounding half asleep, instantly snapped to attention. Yes, Mr. Sterling. I sighed heavily, reaching for a cigarette, but finding my pocket totally empty. Taking a deep breath to calm down, I said, Ellen, you have been working hard lately. Double bonus. Boss, I am your person. It is no hardship at all. Following you is my greatest luck, Ellen replied loyally. The next morning, I cooked a fragrant pot of black chicken noodles. Catching that incredibly familiar scent, Chloe's eyes instantly watered, her nose tingling. It was the comforting scent of her brother, the scent of family from her warmest memories. You have this weekend off, right? I asked. She nodded, eating the noodles in tiny bites. Let us go home right after we eat. I dropped the bombshell. I had my people renovate the entire house. Your old room is completely gone. From now on, you will stay right next to mine. I had my guys knock down a section of the wall to build a connecting door between our two rooms. Chloe gripped her chopsticks, feeling a deep mix of sorrow and warmth. He knew everything. He had completely arranged everything for her. The mansion was the legacy their mother left behind, the symbol of their family. I could not ever abandon it. If anyone had a problem with it, I would tear the house down and rebuild it from scratch. A beautiful memory of my mother wearing a red dress and pearl earrings quickly surfaced. She gently patted my head. Henry, do you know exactly why Mom named you Henry? Because I want you to completely rule your own life. My Henry must always keep his head high. You are the heir I am raising. Do not disappoint me. Brother, are we really going to live there from now on? Chloe asked softly, still deeply worried she might just have another scary panic attack. I gently ruffled her hair. Chloe, you must remember that simply running away never actually solves our problems. Only by facing the darkness can you finally stop fearing it. I looked into her eyes with total, unwavering conviction. Starting today, every ounce of pain they caused you, we will demand back tenfold. I swear I will make them pay 1,000 times over. Chloe stared at me, completely stunned for a long time. As we walked downstairs to leave, a figure suddenly lunged right forward. Chloe jumped. Thud. The figure dropped straight to his knees right in front of her. I was completely wrong, Mr. Sterling. Please forgive me. I know I was wrong. I will never bully you again. I should not have said those things. It is all my fault. Smack, smack. He violently slapped his own face. You and I just witnessed karma. Chloe was shocked seeing Mr. Gobble, the chubby landlord, kneeling. You and I are about to watch pure payback, he was begging, slapping himself. I just ignored it. I pulled out a fresh property deed and tossed it right to Chloe. From today onward, this entire building is yours. My tone was totally casual, but the authority was absolute. It is officially in your name. Chloe froze, eyes totally wide as she stared at her name on the paper. Shocked, she tried to shove it back. No way, brother, you cannot do this. Why buy the whole place? I cannot take it. It is all yours. I put on a tough face, though my voice was super soft. If you say no, I will be mad. You lived here 7 years, treated it like home. Now you can visit whenever you want. Chloe finally hugged the deed tight, her glowing face breaking into the biggest, most joyful smile. Brother, you are literally the best. She glanced down at that landlord who was still pathetically begging. Then her tone turned ice cold. I know he tormented you before. I called the cops to handle him. Am I right? I did not even look her way, waiting for her choice. Would she forgive this absolute creep again? Chloe, just say the word and he gets locked up for good. Chloe clenched her fists tight. Pure fury flashed in her eyes as she glared at the pathetic guy. Over the years, this creep did not just yell at her. He actually snuck into her room multiple times, trying to do the unthinkable. That first time she froze in pure panic, grabbing anything she could and striking him until he stopped. She wanted to call the cops, but he completely threatened her instead. Now watch this closely. Knowing she was broke, he got bolder. She actually thought about giving up entirely during those absolute darkest days, so she kept a knife by her bed. After fighting him off a few times, he finally backed down. Why should she forgive a piece of trash like him? The rage and fear she kept locked away finally exploded right now. Chloe looked straight up, voice shaking but absolutely fierce. Brother, I want him locked away. I want him to pay. I despise him. He was always bullying me. I nodded, super satisfied, eyes flashing cold. Done deal. He is definitely going to prison now. Chloe gave a firm nod. Watching the cops drag that landlord away, she felt a massive weight finally lift right off her tired shoulders. She quickly wiped her tears and reached out for my hand. "Brother, let us go home."
All right, get in.
Ellen had brought the car around. Chloe curiously eyed the blonde, blue-eyed woman who had this intense, boss-like aura totally matching my own vibe. "She is totally his person. Is Miss Ellen your personal assistant here?" she asked me directly. I chuckled. Ellen gave a warm smile. "Yes, I am Mr. Sterling's assistant. It is a massive honor working here. I have learned so much beside him. If you ever need absolutely anything, just ask." Ellen was perfectly polite and highly professional. Chloe felt super proud realizing her brother was not just rich, but had such incredibly skilled people around. "My brother is honestly way too amazing." She stared down at the crisp deed, the very first real gift he ever gave her. "You feel that shift, right?" Meanwhile, at the Sterling mansion, Linda and George had not slept tonight. The deafening crash of walls getting completely smashed kept echoing, leaving them totally furious, but completely helpless. Early next morning, George's mother, a seriously harsh, bossy older woman, showed up. Hearing that insane noise, she just completely lost her mind. "Stop what you are doing right now. Can you not see me standing here? Who are you?" She shrieked at the workers, then whipped around to George and Linda. "Kick them out!" They desperately wanted to, but the workers just ignored them completely. They even nearly got hurt trying to stop them. That absolute brat. Mother Sterling pointed upstairs, lips actually shaking with pure anger, daring to treat his own dad like this pure rebellion. "Mom, please, just hold on a little bit." George desperately tried calming her. "Once they finish, it ends." Mother Sterling completely slammed the table. "Bang! You mean that rebellious kid came back? Where is he hiding? Linda told me everything already. I cannot believe he dared disrespect me like this. Acting all high and mighty, tossing people right out." "Do not worry, Linda. I will make him pay. Let us see what he is really planning." "Trashing the house instantly and ruining our peace." Linda grabbed the old lady's arm, faking a perfectly pitiful, sad little voice. "Mom, the kids are just young. Do not be mad. Even though they treated me awfully, I forgive them. After all, they are my husband's real family. I am just an outsider. Who dares call you an outsider?" Mother Sterling absolutely roared. "You are my true daughter-in-law. I will get your payback." Just as she kept ranting, a freezing, sarcastic voice echoed from the door. "That ancient dynasty fell ages ago, guys. Which royal palace did you serve in as a nanny, old lady?" I strolled right in, checking out the chaotic scene and three furious faces, a totally mocking smirk ready. "Never knew Dad had royal blood," she screamed, "rebellious brat. Trust me, we are just getting started. Come along with me," Mother Sterling screamed in absolute rage, but I completely ignored her, just casually taking the sofa. Chloe sat beside me, looking totally chill, creating this crazy contrast to Mother Sterling throwing an absolutely massive tantrum. The old woman pointed at us, furious. "George, look at your mother being completely disrespected while you just sit there doing nothing." George finally snapped and screamed right at me. "Henry, Chloe, get on your knees this instant. This is your own grandmother." Linda rubbed Mother Sterling's back, faking complete helplessness while scolding us. "Henry, Chloe, you really do not understand. Your grandmother's health has been super terrible these past years. Making her sick from anger is a huge sin of completely unfilial behavior. Just listen to your elders. Neil apologized properly and we forget everything." A smug glint flashed in her eyes, pretending she held the moral high ground, but I absolutely did not care. I casually picked up the teapot and poured myself some water. I had not given Linda a single glance since stepping inside, treating her exactly like literal invisible air. Linda's face immediately turned a violent purple shade. She ground her teeth together. "Henry is seriously the hardest person to handle. I cannot let them stay and threaten my position here. You two unfilial monsters." George totally exploded, glaring at me like a cornered beast. I picked up my cup with a freezing smile. My sharp gaze swept over him, making George shiver completely uncontrollably. Right then, he saw the immensely powerful woman he both loved and deeply hated. I spoke calmly, but every single word cut like a knife. "I only call you father because you carry that Sterling name. Keep opening your mouth to call me an unfilial monster and we sever ties right now." I slammed the cup down and leaned forward, my intense gaze getting even sharper. "But you need to understand clearly, if we completely cut ties, the Sterling family wants absolutely nothing to do with you. Now pay attention. Everything is mine." I paused, my voice completely chilling. "Have you forgotten how I operate? I can notarize all assets right now, making absolutely sure you never see a single dime. I played nice letting you people throw your weight around, but I just got back and you already cannot tell if you are the fake fox or the real tiger. George shook with pure anger, knowing I was totally right. If we cut ties, he becomes an outsider left with absolutely nothing. Being controlled filled him with deep humiliation and total rage. Mother Sterling, seeing her son silenced and herself ignored, completely lost her mind. You unfilial brat, you are exactly like your mother. Nothing good ever comes from people who just harm others. She deserved her early end. Hearing her dare insult my mother, my smile completely froze, replaced by a layer of pure, terrifying frost. My eyes turned incredibly dangerous.
You saw that coming, right?
Zero hesitation. I threw hot water directly at her face. Splash! Mother, Sterling violently shrieked, clutching her face in agony. Linda completely jumped in shock, never expecting me to assault an elder so blatantly. Standing up, I looked down at Mother Sterling, my voice like solid ice. It seems you still do not understand your place here. That grandmother title genuinely means absolutely nothing to me. If you just stopped crossing me and acted quietly invisible out of pity for an old woman with one foot near the very end, I might have called you grandmother, letting you live in luxury, but you insist on dancing on my bottom line. So starting today, do not expect a single cent from the Sterling family. Mother Sterling trembled violently, completely shocked by my absolute disregard for family rules. She honestly thought she could control me with her elder status and unfilial threats, but absolutely nothing threatened me. If I cut ties with her son, she instantly loses everything. She heavily regretted it now. She knew early on I was exactly like Bianca. She really should never have provoked me. As if completely seeing through her, I continued. Without my amazing mother, you would probably be rotting in some slum corner right now. Never dare curse my mother. Mother Sterling literally choked on her own words. As much as she hated admitting it, absolutely everything the Sterling family owned was brought by Bianca White. George's face went completely pale, tightly clenching his fists. Even knowing I was entirely right, he just could not accept that humiliating truth. Everyone used to call him a toy boy, totally relying on Bianca to climb up the ladder. Without her, he meant nothing. The gossip and his terrible inferiority complex had completely turned his love into deep hate. He blamed her for being way too strong. If she had just obediently handed him the company and stayed home raising kids, people would never have openly mocked him. I turned to him, my deep sarcasm growing. I was missing for 10 years. The facts clearly prove you completely lack the capability to run this company. I know you were always dissatisfied with my mother, thinking your family status was not glorious. But honestly, ask yourself, if it were all up to you, do you genuinely have the ability to make the Sterling family great? I didn't hold back, tearing his deep scars wide open. If you were genuinely capable over the past 10 years, the Sterling Group would not have declined so badly that random nobodies think they can freely step on us. We both felt that impact. My words pierced George's heart like swords, destroying what little self-esteem he had left. He ground his teeth, totally speechless, his fury morphing into pure, undisguised humiliation. Let's dive into this wild payback. I stood up straight, looked at the door, and dropped my voice to pure ice. Come in, everyone. In walked the butler, maids, chefs, and staff. Every single one was a familiar face from 10 years ago, the exact loyal crew I just tracked down and brought back. Right after I vanished, Linda fired them all, replacing everyone with her own shady people. George stared at them, heavy memories rushing back, exactly like the golden days when Bianca was still around. Young master, they greeted warmly. From today onward, you are all officially back to work, I ordered. Lane, head to my mother's room and see if anything is missing. Use the inventory list. Verify every single item. If anything is gone, search every single room. Can't find it. Call the cops. Every item is valuable enough to press heavy charges. Butler, I hate this living room decor. I want my old style back. I'll ask Ellen soon, but it must be finished today. Chef, prepare a massive lunch. I'm resting before coming down to eat. Every single move I made just radiated pure boss authority. One sharp glare made everyone instantly look away while Linda physically shook with pure rage. Right then, George looked totally defeated and headed outside for a smoke. Linda stomped her foot, desperately trying to block the staff from searching her room, but it completely failed. Everything stolen from Bianca's room was finally reclaimed. For 10 whole years, she treated those precious things as hers. You and I both know she hates giving them back. She whined loudly to George, but he depressingly muttered, "Handle it yourself," and just walked away. Furious, Linda watched him leave, tightly clenching her fists. Chloe spotted the butler and Miss Lane returning, happily hugging both of them. Ever since wicked Linda moved in, they were gone. She wanted to keep them, but failed. Under Linda's sneaky manipulation, George ignored his kids. No matter how she begged, he ruthlessly fired them anyway. Since then, the entire house was packed with lazy strangers only loyal to nasty Linda. In front of George, they acted super hardworking, but behind his back, they constantly bullied poor Chloe. Step-by-step manipulative Linda drove a wedge between the girls and their dad, twisting his mindset until he brutally kicked them out. Mother Sterling gripped her chest, screaming, "Henry, I am not finished yet," I replied coldly. "Then just drop. Nobody is stopping you." Mother Sterling fainted from absolute anger. "I told the butler to send her to the hospital. She pays her own bills. If she refuses, tell the hospital to call the cops. You are going too far," Linda shrieked loudly. I crossed my arms, completely indifferent. Whatever. Looking at the freshly renovated room, I felt very satisfied. Chloe walked in, totally amazed by the luxurious, elegant decor. "Chloe, do you want to take a nap?" She nodded eagerly. We lay on the super comfortable beds and took a solid nap. The massive mansion meant the noisy renovations didn't disrupt our peaceful rest. The crew's insane efficiency left Chloe completely astounded. After just one quick nap, the entire living room was beautifully transformed. "Now watch closely." An angry Linda spots Chloe on the stairs, raises her hand, and lands a completely vicious slap. Smack. The sharp sound echoed across the living room. Chloe grabbed her, burning cheek, tears falling, glaring intensely at Linda. Linda cursed her. "You little brat, you are exactly like your mother. You think just because Henry returned you are safe. Think you can step on me. Dream on. I kicked you out 7 years ago, and I will gladly do it again." Chloe tightly clenched her fists, grinding her teeth. That deep, dark fear suddenly surfaced, making her entire face turn ghost pale. Seeing her obvious fear, Linda pointed at her head, ruthlessly mocking her. "Look in the mirror, Chloe. What are you, kicked out at 18? Where did you get rent and tuition money? I know everything. You sold yourself to filthy men. Trent didn't dump you just because he really loved you. Once you lose your value, he won't even look at you when you are gone." Linda's toxic words felt like poison blades trying to drag poor Chloe back into absolute hell so she could never stand tall again. She knew Chloe was weak, incredibly timid, and insecure, having tormented the poor girl to the point of severe psychological trauma. Even after escaping, Chloe simply could not hide her fear. Linda smirked, leaning close to whisper, "Remember what happened at 16? I have pictures. Want to see Hearing 16? Chloe felt like she got struck by a massive lightning bolt. She grabbed her head, eyes wide open, screaming completely hysterically as she collapsed onto the floor. Linda kept provoking her. "I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Remember when he violently cornered you?" That creepy smile. "If the maid hadn't burst in, you know exactly what would happen, right? Stop! Stop talking right now! Help! Dad, don't let him touch me!" Chloe screamed out loud. Her terrifying screams brought George running. Seeing her act crazy, he frowned, stepping forward. But Linda instantly threw herself into his arms, her voice sickeningly sweet and totally fake. "Hubby, I am terrified. Chloe's acting completely crazy. Trust me, you and I are definitely going to hate this incredibly fake, sweet stepmom routine. Stick with me." George patted her back, claiming she wouldn't listen and had severe mental issues. He told everyone not to panic, acting completely shocked, and then suggested sending her away for professional help. He claimed she might hurt someone if she stayed, signaling for his people to drag poor Chloe away. But the moment anyone got close, she wildly thrashed around, screaming at them not to touch her. George was actually stunned. He never really believed Linda before. Meanwhile, upstairs, I finally woke up and noticed that Chloe was missing. Hearing those terrified screams echoing down the hallway, my expression instantly froze. It was Chloe. I sprinted downstairs, finding random strangers trying to grab her. She was completely unstable, retreating in absolute terror. Catching Linda's nasty, mocking smirk, I instantly knew she triggered her. "Back away from her right now. Anyone touching my sister pays heavily today." My voice carried massive pressure, every single word radiating pure fury. Linda flinched hard, suddenly remembering that I was still around. George quickly stepped up to explain. He begged me not to misunderstand, claiming Chloe just snapped suddenly. He said he only wanted to help. I completely ignored his lies, stepping right in front of Chloe with a soft voice. I told her not to worry. Hearing my voice, she slowly regained clarity. Seeing the sheer heartbreak in my eyes, she wiped her tears away. I only learned about her mental struggles last night. It was incredibly hard imagining the pain she endured, suppressing those emotions every single day to act normal. "Now pay attention here. Thinking about her suffering alone while nobody cared or helped her see a doctor made me blame myself entirely. My heart just shattered completely. This was all my fault. I felt absolutely useless as a brother. If I hadn't left years ago, she wouldn't be suffering like this. Chloe sobbed loudly, throwing herself into my arms. Seeing the girl who was once so proud and gentle turn into someone so insecure hurt worse than any physical wound. I hugged her incredibly tightly. I reminded her she was my favorite person in the world. I was finally back and her suffering was over. She just cried and nodded. Linda dared to interrupt, telling me she didn't want to pry, but insisted my sister was mentally unwell and belonged in a psych ward immediately. Before she could even finish her sentence, I kicked her incredibly hard, sending her flying across the room and crashing down, totally unable to stand. George was absolutely furious, loudly yelling at me for daring to strike my stepmother and completely disrespecting his authority. I calmly patted Chloe's shoulder, gently pulling her behind me. My gaze turned absolutely freezing. I warned my father that one more word would get him a brutal lesson too. My voice sounded extremely calm but carried an absolutely terrifying threat. Staring at the trembling George, my tone grew colder, reminding him we had serious debts to settle soon. He lost the right to be our father years ago. George's face immediately turned pale white. He just trembled, completely powerless against my intense aura. I didn't say another word. I grabbed my phone and ordered Ellen to pull up the surveillance footage. Hearing the word surveillance, Linda went totally pale. She thought she dismantled the cameras 10 years ago, completely unaware I secretly reinstalled every single one. I quickly dragged George to watch the video. You and I both know the truth always comes out. Her vicious face was visible, every single word recorded perfectly. I just clenched my fists, smiling coldly. I gave him exactly 10 minutes to bring my sister's bully right here, warning him not to play dumb. He knew exactly what went down when Chloe was 16. If that guy didn't appear, I promised to lock George in a nursing home to face those consequences himself. My tone was relaxed, but every word felt like a nail hammered into his brain. George was genuinely terrified and sweating profusely. He panicked and ran out. Linda quickly grabbed his arm, asking where her husband was going. But George just desperately wanted to escape. He angrily shook her off while I slowly approached Linda. She backed away with nowhere to run, panicking as she warned me not to touch her. She claimed elder status, threatening to call the cops and destroy my reputation. I laughed, coldly questioning her worth. Linda's face instantly shifted from green to pure white. She didn't dare step forward. Turning to Chloe, I gently rubbed her head, saying this woman just hit and cursed her. I asked if she felt wronged without getting justice. My voice was calm, but it struck a major chord right in her fragile heart. Chloe stood totally frozen. Memories of Linda constantly bullying and humiliating her surged like a tidal wave. Gently pinching her cheek, I offered her tender support, telling her to go get justice for the wrongs she suffered. If someone bullies you, you make them pay double. The air completely froze. After a brief moment of hesitation, Chloe bravely stepped right forward. Smack, smack, 2 extremely crisp slaps landed. Linda's face swelled bright red as she shrieked in total disbelief, completely filled with mixed indignation and sheer humiliation. Chloe pointed straight at her, voice trembling but fierce, demanding who gave her the right to run her filthy mouth. So what do we learn here? She remembered every single despicable, morally bankrupt thing Linda did over all those years. You have no right to curse me. Her eyes filled with tears, but she stood her ground, looking absolutely fierce. Watch this, because you and I love a good comeback. I smirked proudly, glancing at the staff who defended Linda. All of you are officially fired. They were Linda's loyal minions begging her for some help. She went totally crazy trying to pressure me. They are my team. Your father and I are married. I quickly cut her off, my voice dripping with cold sarcasm. Being married takes a real certificate. Do you even have one? The room completely froze. Linda turned pale, glaring at me with pure fury, unable to fight back. I looked around, completely relaxed. I knew George cared about the Sterling Group shares too much to legally marry Linda. At that exact moment, George dragged a chubby, balding man right inside. Seeing him, Chloe completely froze up, turning pale. Her eyes showed all the fear and intense hatred built up inside. Linda smirked deliberately, trying to provoke Chloe. Look closely at this guy. You remember him, right? George gasped heavily, playing the concerned dad. Victor, you absolute jerk. I thought we were friends, but you hurt her. Victor looked really confused, playing innocent. George, what are you even saying? George looked furious, gritting his teeth hard. Stop pretending. 9 years ago you came here and harassed my daughter. Thankfully, a maid found out and rescued her. Did you think I would forget? Victor completely dropped his smile. This is where the tension spikes stick with me. Seeing Chloe shaking, he kept denying everything, claiming total innocence. Accuse me, show proof. I gently held Chloe. Do not be afraid, he is totally powerless. Let us reveal the evidence and make him pay. She nodded bravely, fighting back her heavy tears. She revealed the secret evidence hidden for 9 long years. Linda had removed most cameras, but Chloe smartly saved a hidden backup from her room. She never dared to tell anyone, knowing her own father would never believe her. Seeing the evidence, Victor panicked but still denied everything. This is total nonsense. She is framing me. George, control your kid. Before he could even finish, I smashed a heavy teapot onto his head, stunning him. Linda screamed loudly. Victor clutched his aching head, howling as he backed away. I stared coldly. You absolute trash of a human. You will definitely pay the ultimate price. The police arrived fast. Victor, you are suspected of serious crimes against a minor. Come with us. Victor struggled, whining about proof. Why are you arresting me? I never touched that little brat. The officer sternly replied. We have clear surveillance video footage. Resist and we will not hold back. Chloe looked up. Brother, how did you find that evidence? I hid it for years. I smiled gently. Never forget, I really am your loyal brother. After hearing your story last night, I had Ellen investigate. Thankfully, a secure backup of your footage still existed. She nodded obediently, happily leaning right against my shoulder. We all felt that heavy relief, right? Seeing Victor dragged away, Chloe's years of dark trauma completely vanished into thin air. She looked at me, realizing I was her true protector. Dinner is ready, a maid announced happily. Linda looked absolutely miserable. Why ignore my menu? But the chef and maids completely brushed off her angry complaints. At the dinner table, George placed tasty meat into Chloe's bowl, his eyes showing deep regret. If he had just believed her 9 years ago, she wouldn't hate him now. Chloe quietly accepted the food. It held a father's warm love and a late apology. She ate quietly. We shared dinner, leaving Linda completely excluded. Burning with resentment, she clenched her fists silently, vowing, Henry, just you wait. Chloe sat happily in her beautiful new room, a rare, bright smile shining clearly. Swinging her legs gently, she looked up with sparkling, joyful eyes. Brother, how did you know I love blue? She playfully teased me. I decided to tease her back. Guess right, and I will treat you to hot pot tonight. Hot pot sounded like pure magic. Chloe's eyes completely lit up, smiling brightly as she nuzzled against me like a kitten. Brother, you are the absolute best. She reminded me of the innocent girl who always clung to me. I chuckled warmly, leaving little Chloe staring at me in a happy, peaceful daze. All right, tonight we grab your favorite. I affectionately patted her head. Chloe jumped up happily, hugging me like old times. Back then, she loved exploring the bustling night market with me, tasting every street food snack. Makes you smile, right? I worried about hygiene, so the chef recreated those dishes at home. Stick with me here. Homemade treats never hit like that night breeze aroma. She snuck out once, got busted by me, and ended up sick in the hospital. After that little scare, I got stricter, and she totally behaved. Since I left, she hadn't touched a snack street at all. But man, every time she remembered it, she felt a massive wave of regret. Chloe's sniffled eyes sparkling with pure hope. Brother, that smells amazing. I just smiled, replying gently. Chloe, I know you only had a panic attack and you are physically fine, but we should definitely hit the hospital for a checkup. I will go with you. She was totally stunned. Didn't expect me to be so caring. I figured she would refuse, but she nodded fast. Okay, I will listen to you. I smiled, feeling super relieved. Remembering my other 2 sisters, I asked Chloe, are your younger sisters still in the dorms? Chloe suddenly stopped her chopsticks. Her face shifted, hiding a flash of panic. After their family completely fell apart, she and her sisters had totally separated. For 7 whole years, 0 contact. Whenever they crossed paths, it was just freezing glares like total strangers. She was terrified I would give them my affection, especially the 3rd sister. Chloe saw her as a heartless traitor who didn't even deserve to enter our house. Hey, what is wrong? Catching her weird reaction, I asked softly. Chloe faked a smile, hiding everything. Nothing, brother. Try this beef, it is so delicious. I totally knew she was dodging it, so I stopped pushing. I figured mending this totally shattered sibling bond would take some serious time. After eating, Chloe actually spoke up. Brother, let us go to the hospital right now. I nodded, heading out. At the clinic, I had Chloe wait while I stepped outside to call up an old buddy of mine. Hey man, it has been a long time. Now pay attention here. While Chloe was waiting for me, someone suddenly called her name. Chloe Sterling, is that you? She looked up and saw Tiffany Taylor in a patient gown. Pale face, frail body, but her eyes were glaring with absolute hostility and some serious bad vibes. Tiffany was always the precious treasure in Trent's heart. Every single month, Chloe was forced to give her energy. Even when Chloe felt completely awful, she never ever stopped. Spotting Chloe, Tiffany scanned her shiny designer clothes and perfect makeup, a spark of pure, bitter jealousy flashing fast. But treating herself like the main character and Chloe as a mere extra, she puffed her chest out, grabbing her fake confidence back. Chloe, you did not give your energy this month, right? Go do it right now, I hate waiting. Tiffany was bossy as always. Chloe glared at her with freezing eyes, completely ignoring her. Seeing this, Tiffany snapped, yelling out, I am talking! Are you completely deaf? Chloe stood up. Those 2-inch heels gave her the height to look right down at Tiffany. That icy glare made Tiffany totally freeze. Chloe was definitely not the scared little girl begging for toxic love anymore. Tiffany Taylor, take a hike. Trent and I already broke up. Did he forget to tell you? Tiffany's face dropped, the tension freezing over entirely. Chloe smirked, her eyes practically dripping with total mockery. Guess he told you absolutely nothing. You feel that burn, right? His precious little treasure is apparently worthless. Tiffany was absolutely furious, glaring like she wanted to pierce through Chloe. What are you acting so smug about? Trent dumped you? Chloe just glanced over with a super dismissive smile. You are totally right. I am incredibly smug, but not because Trent left. It is because I dumped that piece of absolute garbage forever. If he threw himself at my feet, I would not even look down. Tiffany literally choked on air. Shaking with rage, she snapped, You are talking crazy. You are just insanely jealous. Chloe tilted her chin, radiating sarcasm. Jealous of you? What exactly do you have that I want? Should I be jealous that you are uglier than me? Or should I be jealous that despite trying so hard, you still cannot marry into the rich Thorne family? Tiffany shook with massive rage, completely losing her mind. She shrieked out loud, Chloe, just wait, you will be begging on your knees. Chloe stood strong, not stepping back one bit. Even at your absolute lowest, I would never bow down to you. Absolutely furious! Tiffany stomped her foot hard and stormed back to her room. She called Trent right away, but nobody picked up. She was so mad she almost threw her phone. Meanwhile, Trent was chilling at a bar with his buddies, swirling wine and totally ignoring the crazy spam calls from an angry Tiffany. Trent, are you seriously dropping the engagement with Chloe? A friend asked. Trent looked completely cold. He just sipped his drink. If she wants out, she is out. Someone laughed, super mockingly. So true. Chloe is just an heiress of the falling Sterlings. How could she ever compete with Tiffany? Another guy shook his head. Stop talking trash. The Sterlings have major roots. I bet the White family would never underestimate them. Tiffany cannot compare. Trent did not care, downing his drink. Chloe initiated the breakup. Trust me, you and I know the truth. She will come crawling back, totally begging. Stick with me. A guy smugly thinks his sister will never leave him, especially since she sacrificed absolutely everything for Tiffany before. What is a tiny argument anyway? Absolutely nothing. His buddy's reassuring words completely restored Trans's faded confidence. Chloe just could not leave him. Meanwhile, on the phone line, heavy breathing echoed loudly. Just wait. I am coming over right now. Dr. Rachel Yates sounded super thrilled and raspy. I ended the call. Rachel quickly grabbed her coat, dashed outside, and literally slapped her own face. 10 long years of endless waiting. Hearing my voice echoing in her ears felt like a massive electric shock. Her entire heart was racing wildly. Sprinting to the clinic entrance, she spotted my familiar shape and happily screamed out, Henry! I spun around, locking eyes. Recognizing my face perfectly, she beamed. I looked even more incredibly handsome than she remembered. Smiling with pure reunion joy, Rachel completely lost control, throwing herself forward and squeezing me tight. Henry. Gripping me firmly, her voice totally choked up. I accepted her hug, gently patting her back. It is me, Rachel. Bursting into happy tears, she completely soaked my shoulder. Where were you all these years? Why stay away? Do you realize how long I waited? Right then, rushed footsteps echoed loudly. Chloe shoved the door open, looking super anxious. Catching a total stranger hugging me tightly, she instantly flew into a wild rage, rushing over to hit and pull. Let go of my brother right now, shocked. Rachel yelped in pain and released me. I gently rubbed Chloe's head, flashing a sweet smile. Behave yourself. This is Rachel Yates, my good friend and an amazing doctor. Rachel stopped crying, smiling through her tears. Famous. I almost lost my hair constantly worrying about you. Instantly, I put on a serious face. Rachel, I came looking for you today because my sister really needs your help. Rachel immediately stood up straight. Your problems are totally my problems. Chloe, follow me. I gently patted my sister's shoulder, looking very kind but firm. Now watch closely. Half an hour passes and Rachel walks back into the room, tightly gripping those mysterious test results. Her normally cheerful face looked incredibly gloomy. How is she? I calmly asked, though my eyes showed massive inner worry. Frowning deeply, Rachel set the heavy papers down. Her tone felt very cautious and bleak. Henry, I will be completely honest. Chloe faced absolutely terrible bullying, leaving her with some very heavy emotional trauma. Despite recent improvements, it remains super concerning. The tests reveal very intense, dark thoughts, making her overall personality incredibly guarded and extremely obsessive. I just nodded in total silence, signaling her to continue. Rachel sighed. These emotional struggles mostly require the patient to overcome them independently. Having loving family around matters far more than mere medication. She was way too little when you vanished. We cannot fully understand her deep pain, but the main root cause definitely connects to you. She relies heavily on family now, so you absolutely cannot vanish again and accidentally trigger her past trauma anymore. Her heart carries many emotional scars today, but having her awesome brother beside her is the greatest medicine. My intense eyes showed a complicated mix of fierceness and pain. You and I feel this. Reading about her wanting to completely give up made his heart feel totally shattered. Thank you so much, Rachel, I replied, sounding steady but slightly choked up. Her lips formed a very bittersweet smile. Henry, after all these years, is a basic thank you all I get? Are we even friends? She stared, harboring 10 whole years of secret longing and deep sadness. I stayed perfectly silent, then suddenly chuckled and patted her shoulder. Stop joking around, Rachel. Let us go grab drinks. Instantly brightening up, she excitedly pulled me right outside. Meanwhile, young Chloe stood frozen at the doorway with her head down, fidgeting super nervously, while peering inside, absolutely terrified of hearing any bad news. As the door swung open, I hid my cold anger completely and called out very gently, Chloe, please come in. Rachel warmly patted her shoulder with a glowing smile. You are extremely healthy. No major issues anywhere. Really? Chloe's eyes completely lit up. Really, you just get overly excited sometimes. Control those emotions and you will be perfect. No meds needed. Rachel stayed patient, lifting the mood. Chloe felt torn, half believing and half doubting. During those lonely nights over the years, she always felt weirdly different from everyone else. She even felt broken. She hesitated. Last time I bit my brother, I quickly cut her off, gently rubbing her head. Chloe, you are not sick. You simply suffered far too much unfairness. Those heavy traumas are not your fault. You are amazing. Those horrible bullies have been totally punished. Stop blaming yourself, all right? Her eyes turned red. Brother, am I really okay? You are okay. I nodded with fierce, unwavering eyes. You survived. From this day forward. Absolutely nobody will ever dare hurt you again. Trust me on this. Knowing that creep is locked away forever. Chloe finally felt completely safe. Let us dive in. You and I are watching my sister finally smile. I will not be scared anymore, she promised, returning to her normal routine. She headed to work looking incredibly confident. Meanwhile, I sat alone in my huge office, tapping my desk, putting all the mystery puzzle pieces together. Chloe was an absolute genius at school, yet she was stuck at a tiny, unknown company. A hidden reason had to exist. Today, Ellen brought some folders. Boss, here is the secret info you wanted about the second miss. Someone was completely targeting her. I flipped open the folder and my eyes locked onto one specific name, Tessa Thorne. Who exactly is Tessa? I frowned. Ellen explained she is the eldest daughter of the wealthy Thorne family. 3 years back, when Chloe and Trent first dated, Tessa fought the romance like absolute crazy. She used all her power to crush my sister, constantly making life difficult. My expression turned freezing cold. The Thornes were not at the absolute top, but still a massive top 5 giant. Tessa acted super arrogant because she had huge backing. I remembered the Thornes had an unsigned contract with us. Tell them I am visiting in person, I ordered. Understood, boss, Ellen nodded. Also, that tiny company took your sister in when she really hit rock bottom. They have a good heart. Should we acquire them? Buy them out, I commanded. Ellen nodded, then added one more little thing. Madame cannot reach you, she said. If you have time, please visit. I pulled my deep racing thoughts back to reality. Understood. Go do your work. The office went totally silent. Beautiful sunlight outside the window cast nice warm shadows. I stared at Chloe's file eyes full of absolute determination. Next morning, I stepped out of my luxury car right in front of Thorne headquarters. Ellen walked beside me holding a silver briefcase. Now pay attention, you are about to see the epic fury of a truly protective brother. We ignored security, walking straight into the big boardroom where Trent and his sister Tessa sat. What is the meaning of this? Tessa snapped, standing up quickly. I ignored her, grabbing the boss chair. You must be Tessa, the one who used bad connections to crush my sister's bright career. And Trent still delusionally waiting for Chloe to crawl back. Trent's face turned super red. Why are you here? A hostile takeover, I replied calmly. By 8 in the morning, my secret teams bought 60% of Thorne Group shares. You no longer own this company. I tossed a clinic folder right onto the big table. Also, Tiffany Taylor's critical illness is totally fake. She bribed doctors to demand Chloe's personal donations just to humiliate her. You treated my amazing sister like a free donor. Trent stared at the reports, his entire world completely shattering. I know what you are thinking. He lost his true love, and now his family empire. Pack your desks by noon, I told them coldly. Come near Chloe again, and you will not even have a tiny cardboard box to sleep in. Back in the car, I ordered Ellen to fully transfer Zenith Company. The company Chloe worked for is now completely under my sister's name. Back home, George and Linda were waiting nervously. Their bags were already packed after my warning. Henry George begged out loud, I am your dad. I own 1% of Sterling Group. You cannot kick me out. I diluted your shares to 0 this morning, I replied. And Linda, my team, discovered you stole over $3 million from our mom's trust fund. Linda screamed loudly as the cops, who I called way in advance, walked right in to arrest her. She stole my mom's clothes, bullied my sisters, and now she was getting a lovely prison cell. George, completely stripped of his wealth and his toxic illusion of control, was forced to walk out with just one suitcase. As those heavy doors closed forever, I turned toward the grand staircase. Chloe walked down, happily holding hands with Maya and Lily, my 2 other wonderful sisters. I spent all morning tracking them down, finally clearing the 10-year misunderstanding that evil Linda created to tear us apart. Brother, Chloe said softly, wrapping her arms around me. Maya and Lily joined the hug, and my icy heart finally melted away. I am home, I whispered, holding my family tight, and I am never leaving. 1 month later, Chloe officially took over Zenith Company, transforming into a confident, absolutely brilliant CEO. Maya headed back to university, and Lily took over Mom's jewelry line. Standing on the balcony of our perfectly restored home, I watched my sisters laugh together in the garden. So, what do we learn? The shadows are gone, replaced by pure light.